Today we are going to talk about clinical manifestation of trigeminal neuralgia. So the clinical manifestation of trigeminal neuralgia is divided into two groups. First is a general clinical manifestation and second one is a specific clinical manifestation. So the clinical manifestation of trigeminal neuralgia is divided into two groups. First is a general clinical manifestation and second one is specific clinical manifestation. So the clinical manifestation of trigeminal neuralgia is divided into two groups. First is a general clinical manifestation, second is a specific clinical manifestation. So let's begin with the general clinical manifestation of trigeminal neuralgia. So first one is the general clinical manifestation of trigeminal neuralgia. So when we talk about the general clinical manifestation of trigeminal neuralgia, so first one is in general clinical manifestation of trigeminal neuralgia, the first one is incidence. So when we talk about the incidence of trigeminal neuralgia, so the incidence of trigeminal neuralgia is rare. Now when we talk about the case report, so 4 cases are noted in 1 lakh person. So what happened when we talk about the incidence of trigeminal neuralgia? So the incidence of trigeminal neuralgia is rare, so it is a rare disease. And when we talk about the case report, so the 4 cases are reported or noted in 1 lakh person. So this is all about the incidence. The incidence of trigeminal neuralgia is basically rare, which is also called the rare affliction. It is also called rare or rare affliction. So the incidence of trigeminal neuralgia is rare. Now after that, next is the predilection. So next one is the predilection. So when we talk about the predilection, so the first one is the age predilection. So the trigeminal neuralgia is mostly occur in late middle age. It is mostly occur in late middle age, which is also called the latter age of the life. And we can say that it is mostly occur in 5th to 6th decade of life. So when we talk about the age predilection, it is mostly occur in 5th to 6th decades of life. So it is mostly occur in 5th to 6th decade of life. 5 to 6 decade of life में ये mostly occur होता है. So this is the age predilection. So it is mostly occur in late middle age, or we can say that latter age of life, or we can say that 5th to 6th decade of life. Now after that, when we talk about the predilection of gender, So when we talk about the predilection of gender, so trigeminal neuralgia is more common in female as compared to male. So it is more common in female as compared to male, and 58% cases of trigeminal neuralgia is reported in female, and remaining case is noted in male. So when we talk about the predilection of gender, so it is more common in female as compared to male, and 58% cases are reported in female. Now after that, when we talk about the predilection of side, so the trigeminal neuralgia is more common in right side as compared to left side. So it is more common in right side. More common in right side as compared to left side. And 60% cases of the trigeminal neuralgia is associated with right side. So when we talk about the predilection of side, it is more common in right side as compared to left side, and 60% cases are associated with right side. Now after that, when we talk about the predilection of involvement of branch of trigeminal nerve, so when we talk about the predilection of involvement of branch of trigeminal nerve. So when we talk about the predilection of involvement of branch of trigeminal nerve, so the most common branch involved is mandibular branch, that is V3. So most commonly involved V3 branch, and after that V2 branch, and V2 branch. After V3 branch, the next most commonly involved branch is V2 branch, and the least commonly involved branch is V1 branch. And only the 5% cases of the trigeminal neuralgia is associated with the V1 branch, and remaining 95% cases is associated with V3 and V2 branch. So when we talk about the predilection of involvement of branch of trigeminal nerve, so the most commonly branch of trigeminal nerve involved in trigeminal neuralgia is V3, then V2, then V1. Now after that, when we talk about the predilection of involvement of combination of branch of trigeminal nerve, so when we talk about involvement of not single branch, there is a involvement of combination. Involvement of combination of branch of trigeminal nerve. So when we talk about the involvement of predilection of involvement of combination of branch of trigeminal nerve, so most commonly combination of branch of trigeminal nerve that is involved in trigeminal neuralgia is combination of V3 and V2, and it is more involved as compared to the V2 and V1. So when we talk about the predilection of involvement of combination of branch of trigeminal nerve, so most commonly combination of branch of trigeminal nerve which is involved in trigeminal neuralgia is V3 and V2, and it is more involved in trigeminal neuralgia as compared to the combination of V2 and V1. So this is all about the predilection. So first predilection is related to age, second predilection is related to gender, third predilection is related to side, fourth predilection is related to the branch, and fifth predilection is related to the combination of the branch. So this is all about the general clinical manifestation of trigeminal neuralgia. So the first general clinical manifestation is incidence, second is the predilection of age, third one is the predilection of gender, fourth one is the predilection of site, fifth one is the predilection of branch of trigeminal nerve, and sixth one is the predilection of combination of branch of trigeminal nerve. So this is all about the general clinical manifestation. Now after that, next is the specific clinical manifestation. So let's talk about the specific clinical manifestation of trigeminal neuralgia. So second one is the specific clinical manifestation. So when we talk about second one, that is specific. Specific clinical manifestation of trigeminal neuralgia. So when we talk about the specific clinical manifestation, so first one, so when we talk about the specific clinical manifestation, the first one is site of pain. So when we talk about the site of pain which occur in trigeminal neuralgia, or when we talk about the site of pain or site of trigeminal neuralgia pain, so the site of trigeminal neuralgia pain is unilateral facial pain. So trigeminal neuralgia pain is unilateral facial pain. So when we talk about the site of pain in trigeminal neuralgia, so the site of pain involve unilateral facial pain, or when we talk about the site of pain, so the pain which occur in the trigeminal neuralgia is a unilateral facial pain. So first one is the site of pain, and in site of pain the pain is unilateral facial pain. Now after that, second is the onset of pain. Second one is what? So second one is the onset of pain. So when we talk about the onset of pain, there is a rapid onset. There is a rapid onset. And this rapid onset of pain is also known as paroxysmal pain. So when we talk about the onset of pain, there is a rapid onset of pain, and this rapid onset of pain is called paroxysmal pain. Now after that, when we talk about the characteristic of pain, so third one is the characteristic of pain. So when we talk about the characteristic of pain, so there are 6 characteristics of pain which is associated with the trigeminal neuralgia pain. So when we talk about the characteristic of pain, so the first one is what? First one is electric shock like pain. Electric shock like pain. First one is electric shock like pain. Second one is lancinating pain. Third one is stabbing pain. Now fourth one is cutting pain. Now after that, fifth one Fifth one is what? After the cutting pain, the fifth one is the intermittent pain. And when we talk about the sixth one, so sixth one is a sharp pain. So when we talk about the characteristic of pain, so the first characteristic of pain is electric shock like pain. Second characteristic of pain is what? Lancinating pain. Third characteristic of pain is stabbing pain, and fourth characteristic of pain is cutting pain. Fourth characteristic of pain is cutting pain. And fifth characteristic of pain is intermittent pain, and sixth characteristic of the pain is sharp pain. So when we talk about the characteristic of trigeminal neuralgia pain, so there are six characteristics of trigeminal neuralgia pain. First characteristic is electric shock like pain, second is lancinating pain, third one is stabbing pain, fourth one is cutting pain, fifth one is intermittent pain, and the last one is sharp pain. So this is all about the characteristic of pain. Now after that, when we talk about the radiation of pain, so after the third one, characteristic of pain, the fourth one is the radiation of pain. So fourth one is what? Fourth one is radiation of pain. So when we talk about the radiation of pain, the pain radiates from trigger point to one or more branch of trigeminal neuralgia. So pain basically radiates. So pain radiates from trigger point. Pain radiates from trigger point to one or more branches of trigeminal nerve. So when we talk about the radiation of the pain, so what happens? Pain radiates from trigger point to one or more branches of trigeminal nerve. Now the question arises, what is trigger point? So in trigeminal neuralgia, basically what happens? The pain is radiated from trigger point, and from trigger point this pain is radiated to one or more branches of trigeminal nerve. So when we talk about the trigger point, so what is the meaning of this trigger point? So when we talk about the trigger point is actually the area on the facial skin or the oral mucosa. So when we talk about the trigger point, so trigger point is basically the area on the facial skin or oral mucosa from where the low intensity stimuli can precipitate the typical pain of the trigeminal neuralgia and can precipitate the typical pain attack of trigeminal neuralgia. So when we talk about the trigger point, so trigger point is area on the facial skin or oral mucosa from where low intensity mechanical stimuli can precipitate typical pain attack or typical pain of trigeminal neuralgia. So we can say the typical pain attack of trigeminal neuralgia. So when we talk about the trigger point, so trigger point is the area on the facial skin or oral mucosa from where mechanical stimuli, and these mechanical stimuli is a low intensity mechanical stimuli, and these low intensity mechanical stimuli can precipitate the typical pain attack of trigeminal neuralgia. And we know that, as we know that pain attack which occur in the trigeminal neuralgia is a severe pain attack. So it means trigger point is that point from where the low intensity stimuli act, but these low intensity stimuli after acting precipitate the severe types of pain. So this is the meaning of what? This is basically the meaning of trigger point. Now this trigger point or the location of this trigger point depends upon the branch of trigeminal nerve involved. So when the V1 branch of the trigeminal nerve involved, the trigger point is different. When the V2 branch of trigeminal nerve is involved, the trigger point is different. And when the V3 branch of trigeminal nerve is involved, the trigger point is different. Now before discussing the trigger site of the trigger point or the location of the trigger point, here the word low intensity mechanical stimuli. So what is the meaning of these low intensity mechanical stimuli? So when we talk about low intensity mechanical stimuli, so these low intensity mechanical stimuli include what? These low intensity mechanical stimuli include light touch, second one is air puff, third one is smiling, then chewing, then talking, then saving, then face wash, then makeup, then eating, and even kissing, etc. So when we talk about the low intensity mechanical stimuli, so these low intensity mechanical stimuli include the light touch, air puff, smiling, chewing, talking, saving, face wash, makeup, eating, kissing, etc. So these all are the low intensity stimuli or low intensity mechanical stimuli. So when these stimuli act on the trigger point, these stimuli precipitate the typical pain attack of trigeminal neuralgia. Now when we talk about the location of or the site of a trigger point, from where the trigger point is located, so the location of the trigger point basically depend upon the branch of trigeminal nerve involved. So let's talk about the what? Let's talk about the location of trigger point. So let's talk about the location. So when we talk about the location, it's depend upon the type of trigeminal nerve involved or type of branch of trigeminal nerve involved. So type of branch of trigeminal nerve involved. So if V3 branch of the trigeminal nerve is involved, if V3 branch of the trigeminal nerve is involved, so what is the site of or location of the trigger point? So if the V3 branch of trigeminal nerve is involved, so the location of trigger point or site of trigger point is on the lower lip, then lower teeth, then lower gum, and along with that, in some case, trigger point is also present on tongue. So when we talk about the trigger point of V3, or when we talk about the trigger point when the V3 branch of the trigeminal nerve is involved, so the trigger point when the V3 branch of trigeminal nerve is involved, so the trigger point is located on the lower lip, lower teeth, lower gum and tongue. Now what happens if the V2 branch of the trigeminal nerve is involved? So if the V2 branch of trigeminal nerve is involved, so if the V2 branch of trigeminal nerve is involved, so what is the trigger point? So if the V2 branch of trigeminal nerve is involved, then the trigger point is skin of upper lip. Okay, then upper gum, upper gum, then cheek, then alanasi. So when we talk about the trigger point or location of the trigger point, or from where the trigger point is present, if the V3, if the V2, it is the V2. If the V2 branch of trigeminal nerve is involved, so if the V2 branch of trigeminal nerve is involved, the trigger point is present on upper gum, cheek, skin of upper lip and alanasi. Now what about if the V1 branch of the trigeminal nerve is involved? So if the V1 branch of the trigeminal nerve is involved, so the trigger point is present on supraorbital ridge. Supraorbital ridge. So when we talk about the location of a trigger point, so the location of trigger point depends upon the type of branch of trigeminal nerve involved. If V3 is involved, so the trigger point is located on lower lip, lower teeth, lower gum and tongue. If V2 branch is involved, so the trigger point is located on upper gum, cheek, alanasi and skin of upper lip. If V1 branch of the trigeminal nerve is involved, so the trigger point is located on supraorbital ridge. So this is all about the location of trigger point. Now these trigger point may be intraorally located or extraorally located. So for example, the trigger point, if the trigger point is considered to be located on teeth, so it is an intraoral trigger point, and if the trigger point is located on the skin of upper lip, so it is an extraoral trigger point. So trigger point may be intraorally located and trigger point may be extraorally located. So what does it mean? It means if the pain of the trigeminal neuralgia radiate from the trigger point, which may be intraorally located or extraorally located, and from this trigger point the pain is radiated from one or more branches of the trigeminal nerve. So this is all about the radiation of the pain of trigeminal neuralgia. So this is all about the radiation of the pain of trigeminal neuralgia. After the radiation of pain, next one is the associated symptoms. Next specific clinical manifestation is associated symptoms. So next one is, that is fifth one, associated so when we talk about the associated symptoms of trigeminal neuralgia, so what happened? First associated symptoms is winces. Second associated symptoms is tic-douloureux. Third is no abnormal neurological function, and fourth one is no sensory loss. No sensory loss. So when we talk about the associated symptoms, so first one is winces. Winces means what? Winces means spasmodic pain of facial muscle. So winces basically means spasmodic pain of facial muscle. Now when we talk about the tic-douloureux means severe pain associated with spasmodic contraction of facial muscle. So tic-douloureux means severe pain associated with spasmodic contraction of facial muscle. Now, no abnormal neurological function is seen and no sensory loss is seen. But these two clinical features, when we talk about these two clinical features, so when we talk about these two clinical features, that is no abnormal neurological function, no sensory loss. So these two clinical features is seen in case of classical trigeminal neuralgia. Seen in case of what? Seen in case of classical trigeminal neuralgia. Not in case of symptomatic trigeminal neuralgia. So what happened? No abnormal neurological function and no sensory loss. These two symptoms is basically seen in case of classical trigeminal neuralgia. Seen in case of classical trigeminal neuralgia, not seen in case of symptomatic trigeminal neuralgia. Because in symptomatic trigeminal neuralgia, what happened? There is a presence of abnormal neurological function and there is a presence of sensory loss. But in case of classical trigeminal neuralgia, there is no abnormal neurological function and there is no sensory loss. So these two characteristics or these two symptoms is basically seen in case of classical trigeminal neuralgia, but not seen in case of symptomatic trigeminal neuralgia. Now, when we talk about the abnormal neurological function, so these abnormal neurological function include what? Corneal reflex. So these abnormal neurological function include what? Include corneal reflex, then paresthesia, then anesthesia, then muscle atrophy, then muscle paralysis, and then muscle weakness. So when we talk about the abnormal neurological function, so these abnormal neurological function include corneal reflexes, then paresthesia, then anesthesia, then muscles atrophy, muscles paralysis, and muscles weakness. So this is all about the associated symptoms of trigeminal neuralgia. So this is a fifth clinical or specific clinical manifestation of trigeminal neuralgia. Now after the associated symptom, next one is time of pain. Next one is the sixth one, and sixth specific clinical manifestation is time of pain of trigeminal neuralgia. So the sixth one is time of pain. So when we talk about the time of pain, the pain lasts for seconds. The pain of trigeminal neuralgia lasts for second, and maximum 1 to 2 minutes. So when we talk about the time of pain, so the pain of trigeminal neuralgia lasts for seconds and maximum 1 to 2 minutes. Now when we talk about the pattern of pain or the pattern in which the pain occur in trigeminal neuralgia, so basically what happens if the patient is initially suffering from trigeminal neuralgia, so what happens, there is a presence of cluster of pain or there is a presence of multiple pain within few weeks. Or we can say that if the patient is suffering from the trigeminal neuralgia, so initially patient is suffering from cluster of pain or the patient is initially suffering from the multiple pain attack which occur within few weeks. So for a few weeks what happened? For few weeks what happened? There is a occurrence of multiple pain attack. Multiple pain attack. And these multiple pain attack is also called cluster of pain. Cluster of pain attack. Now for few weeks there is a multiple pain attack and cluster of pain attack. And after that there is a period of remission. And after that what? After that there is a period of remission. Period of remission. And in the period of remission, no clinical manifestation of trigeminal neuralgia seen. So in period of remission, what happened? No clinical manifestation seen. Now these period of remission persists for few period or for few weeks. and after that again for few weeks there is a multiple pain attack, and this process take place continue. It means in trigeminal neuralgia the pattern of pain is like that. In first few weeks there is a multiple pain attack, and then after that there is a period of remission. Then after the period of remission again there is a few week which is associated with the multiple pain attack, and then again the period of remission. So in this pattern the pain of the trigeminal neuralgia run. Now one more important thing must be remembered. Along with the time or along with the period, the severity of the trigeminal neuralgia increases. Now, how the severity of the trigeminal neuralgia increases? So, the severity of the trigeminal neuralgia increases in such a way, along with the time, what happens? The number of attack which take place in the cluster of pain attack. For example, in first cluster of pain attack, the number of attack is 5. So in the next cluster of pain attack, the number of attack is 6, and after that the next cluster of pain attack, the number of attack is 7. So what happened? Along with the period, the number of pain attack within the multiple pain attack or within the cluster of pain attack increases, and the period of remission along with the time decreases. So when we represent this pattern of the pain along with severity of the pain of the trigeminal neuralgia, so it is represented as, so this is, for example, this represent this zigzag line represent what? This zigzag line represent what? Represent the multiple pain attack or cluster of pain attack, and these straight line represent the period of remission. So consider this is the first cluster of pain attack, this is the second cluster of pain attack, and this is the third cluster of pain attack, and this is the first remission period, this is the second remission period, and this is the third remission period. So what happened? Along with the time, the number of pain attack which take place in the cluster of pain attack increases. For example, in first cluster of pain attack 5 pain attack occur. In second cluster of pain attack 6 pain attack occur, and in third cluster of pain attack 4 pain attack occur. So along with the time, what happened? Cluster of pain attack or number of pain attack within the cluster of pain attack increases, but along with the time the duration of remission period decreases. So along with time we can say that along with time what happened? Severity of the trigeminal neuralgia increases. Severity increases. So this is basically the time of pain. So what happens in time of pain? The pain lasts for few seconds, and or the pain lasts for second and maximum 1 to 2 minutes. And when we talk about the pattern of pain, so for few weeks what happens? There is a multiple pain attack or cluster of pain attack, and after that there is a period of remission in which no clinical manifestation seen, and after the period of remission there is again few weeks which is characterized by the multiple pain attack. Now when we talk about the severity, so the severity of the trigeminal neuralgia increases with time. How the severity of the trigeminal neuralgia increases with time? Because increases with time the number of pain attack within the multiple pain attack or within the cluster of pain attack increases, and along with time the duration of period of remission decreases. So this is all about the time of pain, which is a specific clinical manifestation of trigeminal neuralgia. Now after that, next is the initiating factor. Now after that, 7.1 is initiating factor. So when we talk about the initiating factor, so what happened? Hyper excitable neuron, and as we already discussed in pathogenesis of trigeminal neuralgia, this hyperexcitable neuron is actually the A alpha and A beta neuron. So hyperexcitable neuron sensitize or excite hyperexcitable neuron sensitized by non-painful stimuli. And finally produce severe pain. So what happened? Hyperexcitable neuron sensitized by non-painful stimuli and finally produce severe pain. Now these non-painful stimuli which produce the pain, actually it is the non-painful stimuli. Instead that these stimuli produce pain. So the non-painful stimuli which is able to produce the severe pain, this type of stimuli is known as allodynia. This type of stimuli is known as allodynia. So what is allodynia? Allodynia means non-painful stimuli produce the severe pain. So there are basically two types of allodynia. First is the tactile allodynia and second is movement allodynia. So there are two types of allodynia. Tactile allodynia and second one is movement allodynia. So when we talk about the tactile allodynia, so tactile allodynia include what? Include light touch, then ear puff, then kissing. Along with that, it includes shaving, it includes makeup, it includes face wash, etc. And when we talk about the movement allodynia, it includes chewing, then it includes smiling, then it includes eating, then it includes swallowing, etc. So allodynia is basically the non-painful stimuli which produce the severe pain, and there are two types of allodynia: tactile allodynia and movement allodynia. Tactile allodynia include light touch, ear puff, kissing, etc. and movement allodynia include chewing, smiling, eating and swallowing. So basically what happened, the allodynia decrease the quality of the life and make the quality of life poor. So when we talk about the effect of allodynia, so it makes the poor quality of life. Quality of life. Why these allodynia make the poor quality of life? Because the simple factors, simple stimuli like the fine touch, like the light touch, like the air puff, like the kissing, these simple stimuli precipitate the excruciating type of pain. So these simple stimuli, what happen? Precipitate excruciating type of pain. So what happened? So these allodynia basically what happened? Make the poor quality of life. Why these allodynia make the poor quality of life? Because in these allodynia what happened? The simple stimuli, simple factor precipitate the excruciating type of pain. So this is all about the initiating factor. So in initiating factor what happen? Hyperexcitable neuron sensitized by non-painful stimuli and finally produce the severe pain. Now the non-painful stimuli which is able to produce the severe pain, this type of stimuli is known as allodynia. And there are two types of allodynia. First is a tactile allodynia and second one is a movement allodynia. The tactile allodynia include the many types of factor or stimuli like the light touch, air puff, kissing, etc. And movement allodynia include the many types of factors or stimuli like the chewing, smiling, eating, swallowing, etc. Now these allodynia make the poor quality of life because in these allodynia what happens? The simple stimuli or simple factor precipitate the excruciating type of pain. So this is all about the 7 specific clinical manifestation, that is initiating factor. Now after that the 8th one is severity of pain. So the 8th specific clinical manifestation is severity of pain. So when we talk about the severity of pain, the pain which is associated with trigeminal neuralgia is very severe pain. Very severe pain. Now what happens? In extreme cases, what happens in extreme cases of trigeminal neuralgia? Extreme cases of trigeminal neuralgia, what happens? Even motion less, frozen, mask-like face precipitate severe pain of trigeminal neuralgia. In presence of even air puffs. So what happened when we talk about the severity of pain? So the pain, when we talk about the severity of the pain is very severe pain. So the trigeminal neuralgia pain is very severe pain. Now in extreme cases of trigeminal neuralgia, what happens? Even the motionless, even the frozen, even the mask-like face precipitate the severe pain of trigeminal neuralgia. If the face of the patient is motionless, and if the face of the patient is a frozen like face, and if the face of the patient is mask like face, so in this condition also the patient trigeminal neuralgia is associated with a severe type of trigeminal neuralgia pain, even in presence of the ear puff. It means what? It means if the patient make their face motionless, if the patient make their face frozen like face, and if the patient make their face mask like face, and so in this condition what happen, the typical pain attack of the trigeminal neuralgia occur even in presence of ear puff. So this is all about the extreme cases of trigeminal neuralgia. And when we talk about the severity of pain, so the pain which occur in the trigeminal neuralgia is a very severe type of pain. So this is all about the specific clinical manifestation of trigeminal neuralgia. So this is all about the specific clinical manifestation of trigeminal neuralgia. Now after that, one positive aspect of trigeminal neuralgia is that positive aspect of trigeminal neuralgia. So or we can say that there is two positive aspects of trigeminal neuralgia. First positive aspect is that pain attack does not occur during sleep. Pain attack does not occur during sleep. So the pain attack of the trigeminal neuralgia does not precipitate if the patient is sleeping. So during sleep there is no pain attack of the trigeminal neuralgia. Second, the early remission period is more than or equals to 6 months. So early remission period. Early remission period means what? After the initial cluster of pain attack, the first remission period which take place is the early remission period. So early remission period is greater than or equals to 6 months. But this condition only seen in 50% cases. Now in 50% cases the early remission period is greater than or equals to 6 months. So this is two positive aspect which is related to the trigeminal neuralgia. First is pain attack does not occur during sleep, and second is early remission period is greater than or equals to 6 months, and it is seen in case of 50%. It is seen in 50% cases. So this is all about the clinical manifestation of trigeminal neuralgia. So when we recapitulate the clinical manifestation of trigeminal neuralgia, so the clinical manifestation of the trigeminal neuralgia is divided into two groups. First is a general clinical manifestation, second is a specific clinical manifestation. When we talk about the general clinical manifestation, so in general clinical manifestation, first is the incidence, second one is the predilection. In predilection, first one is the age predilection, second one is the gender predilection, third one is the side predilection, fourth one is the branch of trigeminal nerve involvement predilection, and fifth one is the combination of branch of trigeminal nerve involvement predilection. After that, next one is what? Next one is the specific clinical manifestation. So when we talk about the specific clinical manifestation, so first one is what? First one is the site of pain, second one is onset of pain, third one is characteristic of pain, fourth one is the radiation of pain, fifth one is the associated symptom, then sixth one is the time of pain, then seventh one is the initiation of the pain or initiation of the disease or initiation of the trigeminal neuralgia, and the last one is the severity of the pain. So this is all about what? All about the clinical manifestation of trigeminal neuralgia. Thank you.